You are watching. Pause. We pause for a second or two. How do we keep life coherent when so much is changing? This is episode 233, 80 years atomic bomb. For the last 3 years or so, we have increasingly had to get used to that the great powers of the world, the great countries of the world, are threatening people with the potential use of atomic bombs. The atomic bomb was first used on people 80 years ago this year. In August of 1945, the United States of America dropped 2 atomic bombs on the Japanese people. And that was the 2 times that such a thing has been done. And that was 80 years ago this year, from 1945 to 2025. The emotional situation that we're talking about today is our acute situation. It is for those times when something sudden happens, something that startles us, shocks us, scares us. Can be an ambush, can be something unexpected that makes us lose our sense of control for a moment. It can also be potentially dangerous situations that happen suddenly and creates an acute situation for us. And the image that we have all seen of the atomic bomb being used is perhaps one of the most violent images representing such an acute situation. It's an image so direct, so unmistakably terrifying that one moment there is a city there And then just the next moment, a couple of seconds later, it's just this mushroom-shaped cloud. And then when the cloud has subsided, there is nothing left. It's a blindingly clear image of our acute situation. Things are in one way, 1 second. We have control, we feel fine, and then we don't. The emotional skill of today's episode is specific skill diaphragm, and it is specific for our acute situation. Specific skill diaphragm is about that this area we have right here, just beneath our rib cage, the muscle here in this area is very sensitive to how we perceive danger. So if we are relaxed in our tissue, our muscle tissue, and then come across something dangerous, then our diaphragm will start vibrating. The muscle will sort of vibrate to alert us that this is dangerous and now we should retreat. That is specific skill diaphragm. "80 years have passed since the atomic bombs were used on people on two occasions. And in those 80 years, most people on the planet have been born. Most people living right now are born after that event, are born in these 80 years. And we are born in different generations. So some of us are born right after the bombs were dropped, born in the late 40s and the 50s. And then we have people born in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, during the Cold War. And then we have people like me, who are born after the fall of the Berlin Wall. And the event that is usually described as the end of the Cold War. Or at least the point when the immediate fear of atomic bombs subsided a little. And then now we are in our current times when the fear has gone up again. Today's episode is called 80 Years Atomic Bombs. And What we're talking about today is that the image of the atomic bomb is equal to us all. It is a terrifying image, and it is something that has set the tone for our age, the age after World War II. But what we're also talking about today is that specific skill diaphragm, how alert we feel that our sense of fear is in the face of the atomic bomb. That is, it can vary depending on what generation we are part of. So on my part, I was born in 1990, after the Berlin Wall had fallen. So my generation, called millennials, that are born in the 90s, we grew up in a time when people felt more calm about the atomic bomb. It didn't feel as pressing. It didn't feel as close by. So, parents, to me and to my friends, did not necessarily have to feel as acutely scared about the prospect of atomic bombs being used. So that might be the reason why I even can sit here and pause and talk about this subject relatively fluently, like I'm doing now. To some people, this topic is simply impossible. It's just too scary. So I guess the deeper meaning beneath or behind to this episode is that different generations fear different things. And it would seem that the atomic bomb alerts some generations' diaphragm more than others, depending on what experiences one have, depending on what sort of, how pressing the question of atomic bombs felt when one was a kid, when one chose to have kids of their own. And these big, terrifying subjects, like the atomic bomb, it has regrettably, it has the potential to come in between generations. And now we are again in fearful times. And in fearful times, people of different generations feel more or less strongly about specific fears. 80 years. And I guess we will see for how long the great powers of the world will keep scaring people with the potential use of atomic bombs. Now it's quite regular. We see it in the news basically every day, every other day. It's just there, constantly present. And I think all of us have done some imagination work about if such a thing would be used again, the atomic bomb, by people on people. How would we react in such an acute situation? I think it's impossible not to think about it at least a little. It's just such a unfathomable scenario. So today, in today's episode, we pause for a second or two and simply acknowledge how little we know about how such a situation would be. At the same time that we recognize our own effort in just living under this sort of constant reminding. We're constantly being reminded by the great powers of the world. Do not forget about atomic bombs. Do not forget about atomic bombs. Do not forget about. It's this constant reminding. Mm. 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 So I guess we will see in the future if we feel the need to talk yet again about atomic bombs, and perhaps the political climate changes so that this specific fear will feel different in some way. Yes, but it is a strong subject. It is it's so so big. It takes time to get used to. If it's possible at all to get used to it completely. It's humbling. That's it for today. Thank you.